So, my brother, Lou Majaw, has invited me to say a few words to you. It's got a song. I want to share something very special that's inspiring. Silence, please. So, since most of you don't understand Farsi, I'll speak in English. Is that okay? So first question. Raise your hands if you love your daddy. Raise your hands if your daddy gives you inspiration. Good. I want to share two little stories with you. That's someone who really inspired me. And I think these two stories will also inspire you. And it's about the power of song and music to awake a whole generation through music. Exactly what Lou Majaw is doing. So I'm taking you back in time to the 1960s, okay? So back in the 1960s, there was a young man who studied in your school. He was an Antonian. And this young man was the leader of the Hill State movement. Back then, we did not have Meghalaya. We were part of Assam. The Hill State movement started in the 1960s. He was a teacher, but he was a student of this school. So, in the summer of '69, how many of you have heard that song? Well, in the summer of '69, right here in Shillong, there was a direct action walk. Okay? All the young people, just like your age, 16, 17, 18, 19, they were all young volunteers volunteering for the state, the Hill State. So this young man wrote a song for the young people in the 1960s. And in 1969, they did a direct action walk. How many of you know Madan student in JR? Raise your hand. Okay. Imagine the summer of '69 in Madan student in JR. There was a lot of young people that gathered there, and they were going to do a non-violent direct action protest, walking from there to the Assam Secretariat. Do you know where a secretariat is? Yeah. Okay. That was then Assam Secretariat. Okay? So, what did they do? All these young people gathered, they walked from JL, your age, okay? How many of you know Mahatma Gandhi? Raise your hands. How many of you know Martin Luther King from America? Okay. So these young people use non-violent tactics, okay? They walk all the way from JL to the Assam Secretariat, and by that time the Assam Secretariat was surrounded by police and troops and military troops with guns, because they thought these young people were going to create like a big demonstration. There's going to be violence, there's going to be fight and so on. So they surrounded 3 layers of police force with guns. Imagine young people just like you. They started walking, they were chanting, they were singing, and when they got to the Assam Secretariat, all the people working there said, "You young people, go home." They shut their doors, they chanted at them, they called them names, and they said, "You're stupid, you're never going to get your hill state, forget about it." So what did he do? Just like you, they sat in front of the Secretariat, they locked their hands, locking their hands, they made a ring, and they started singing the song. Of course, it's in Khasi, it's called Pankre Samma. It means rise up, young people. They started singing and singing and singing. And slowly, these people working in the Assam Secretariat heard the voice and the lyrics of that song. It really went deep in their hearts. They started opening their doors, they started opening their windows, then the tea came out to all the young people sitting there, then the biscuits came out, and so on. And then slowly the main doors opened, and all those young people sitting outside, they came inside the Secretariat to talk with the leaders from the Assam government. And guess what? We got our hill state, not a single, we got Meghalaya. Just one song, not a single drop of blood was shed. You know what's happening in Nagaland? You know what's happening in Mizoram and all the other states? A lot of people lost their lives fighting for freedom. We got our hill state, not a single drop of blood, not a single bullet fired that day. That was one song. It was called Pankre Samma. And then, of course, we got our hill state, but some business interests wanted to keep Shillong part of Delhi to control. They said, fine, you can take Meghalaya, you can have your hill state, but Shillong will be in control from Delhi, the Union Territory. You know what is the Union Territory, right? Okay. So, then Mr. B.B. Lyngdoh, who was the Chief Minister then, said that we cannot have Meghalaya without Shillong. Shillong is the heart. Again, this young man from your school had written another song, but he wrote the song about Shillong in Khasi. So he was summoned by my granduncle, who was the Chief Minister then, to translate that song from Khasi to English. Of course, he was the writer and he was a teacher. All night he sat translating that song from Khasi to English all night, because the song had to match, right? Same words in Khasi has to match in English. In the morning he gave it to B.B. Lyngdoh and he said, "Look, is this translation okay?" He said, "Yes." And he said, "Only the man who wrote the song can translate it to English and carry the same essence." They recorded that song in a choir, and they took it in a cassette tape to Indira Gandhi. How many of you know Indira Gandhi, the first Prime Minister, the first woman Prime Minister? Okay. So what did she do? Indira Gandhi listened to the song. She understood. Meghalaya is a state, but the state without the heart is the heart pumps blood into the body, right? No heart, the body is dead. So even if we have a hill state without a heart, Shillong, our capital, we have no freedom. So guess what? Indira Gandhi listened to the song from the choir from Shillong, and she understood the deep link between Shillong and our people. And guess what? We got Shillong to be our capital. One song, just one song. How powerful is that? So Assam had to find a new capital, and Guwahati was born, and we got Meghalaya. Do you know what Meghalaya means? Yeah. What? And where does that come from? Sanskrit, right? Do you guess? Can you guess who gave that name? Indira Gandhi. We have a state named by the Prime Minister, because when she came here, she saw the clouds coming home, So you said, this state will be called Meghalaya, where the clouds come home. So, you love your daddies, right? Okay, this young man was my dad, who wrote this song from your school. So, if you love your daddy, take care of him. The reason why you come to school is because your parents love you. They want you to have the best education. Like my father, like my mother, we work very hard to send their kids to school so that you can study and you will be the stars of the Northeast. Okay? They want you to be stars of the Northeast, not just of Meghalaya, but from the Northeast. So go back, when you go home, go and hug your mom and dad and say thank you for giving us the best education because you're in one of the best schools in the country. Anthony. One of the best colleges. So be proud of yourself. Okay? So I just want to end with two quotes, two very special quotes from two great leaders. How many of you know Winston Churchill? Raise your hands. Okay, Winston Churchill is the most famous Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Okay? He was Prime Minister during the war, during the Second World War. You know what he said? Listen carefully. You make a living by what you get. You make a life by what you give. So, as Antonians, when you graduate from the school, give back to Meghalaya, give back to your community, give back to your villages, or wherever you come from. Remember, you make a living by what you get, you make a life by what you give. You understand? So give, and give unconditionally from your heart. Do not expect anything, just give. And God will reward you. In the most unexpected times, you will be rewarded. The more you give, the more you get. Okay? Another man, another great leader, John F. Kennedy. Raise your hand if you know him. Kennedy. Okay? Who was he? Okay. John F. Kennedy was the youngest president of the United States. He was only 42 years old when he was elected president. But what happened to him? What happened to him? He was killed. He was assassinated. But he was the youngest president and the most powerful man in the world. So this is what he said. Remember carefully. This is for you guys. The future promise of any nation depends on the present prospects of its youth. It depends on you, which means that the future of any nation depends on the young people. If those young people are charged, involved in the community, helping their families, the community, that nation is alive. The young people are apathetic, disengaged, disillusioned, too busy drinking, too busy in drugs, not studying, not respecting their families, their teachers, that nation is doomed. Remember, I'll say one more thing. The future promise of any nation depends on the present prospects of its youth. You. Thank you very much. Power to you guys. Thank you.
Good speech, buddy.